My name's Kristen from Tiny Footsteps Travel, and I'm going to tell you what you need to know about visiting Kennedy Space Center in Port Canaveral, Florida.
I'm on the road.
Just before the main entrance, you'll find ticket booths, a large NASA planet to get family photos in front of, and a booth where they can help put together an itinerary for your visit. We didn't use this service, but I can definitely see how some people would. The Kennedy Space Center is very large and extensive. When you first come in the main entrance, you'll end up in the Rocket Garden, which is right here. The Rocket Garden is right beside the Heroes and Legends exhibit, which showcases famous astronauts and people that have contributed to the space program over the decades. I definitely recommend heading into the Gateway Deep Space Launch Complex, which is also beside Rocket Garden. You could spend hours in there. There's virtual reality, there's simulator rides, the real Falcon 9 and the Dragon capsule are on display, which you can see. And there's just in general a lot of different things to look at. There's tons of food options at the space complex, by the way, but inside this Gateway complex, they have a little snack bar with some healthier options. There's smoothies and there's some healthy bowls and things like that, and some tables where you can eat them at. We bought some of the smoothies for our daughters and they really enjoyed them. If you're at the space complex with kids, you might want to go into Planet Play, which is right beside the building that the Gateway is in. I'm going to be making a whole separate video about visiting the Space Center with kids, so stay tuned to that if you're interested. Right outside the building that Planet Play is in, you'll find sort of a large concourse area with a few things to do. Some of them cost extra, but there's also lots of food options and a fountain and lots of places to sit. And this is also where you're going to find the entrance to the bus tours. I definitely recommend taking one of the bus tours because it shows you a lot of really interesting things. There's actually a few different bus tours to choose from. There's the Kennedy Space Center bus tour, which is included in your price, and you don't have to pay any extra for that. But if you go with the Explore tour or one of the other ones, then there is an additional cost. We decided to go with the Explore tour, which we paid an extra $25 an adult for, $19 for kids. Depending on which bus tour you go with, you're going to see a lot of behind the scenes of where astronauts and engineers and people like that actually work for the space program. So there's usually the SpaceX building, the vehicle assembly building, launch pads, and things like that. We also had opportunities to get off the bus at some points on the Explore tour and take some family photos, which was nice.
Probably having the best time on that. A lot of these buildings, as well as specifically this one here, have some automatic doors, so they're going to open like a supermarket.
Regardless of which bus tour you choose to go on, you will be dropped off at a different complex from the one you left from. They all bring you to the Apollo/Saturn V Center. And don't worry about being dropped off somewhere different at all, because the Apollo Saturn V Center is definitely worth checking out. And it's very easy to get back to the main complex because they have constant buses leaving throughout the day. The other activity I would definitely try to fit into your day at Kennedy Space Center is the Atlantis Space Shuttles complex. You get to see the actual Atlantis Space Shuttle and learn not only about that particular space shuttle, but the whole space shuttle program in general. And there's also a lot more to see and do and learn there besides just about the space shuttle, so I definitely recommend taking your time and devoting a good hour to 2 hours or even more there. All the footage that I showed you in this video was taken over the course of 2 days. I personally do recommend buying the 2-day pass for the Space Center. That is what we did. 1 day isn't enough to fit all of these things in, so you would need to prioritize what's important to you. Here's how I would recommend structuring a 2-day visit and how we structured ours. So on day 1, I would do the Heroes and Legends exhibit and the Gatekeeper complex, which has the virtual reality and lots of simulators. And then choose between either an IMAX movie and or Planet Play. Planet Play if you have younger kids, IMAX movie if you have older kids and or just adults. And then on the second day, I would come back and just do the bus tour, whichever one you choose, as well as the Saturn V complex where it drops you off, and then spend a good hour or so there. There are food options at the Saturn V complex. And then after you return, go and take your time inside of the Atlantis Space Shuttle exhibit because it's located a little bit further off and it makes sense to go there right after you get back from the bus tour. Now, if you want to do any of the extra activities, especially the ones that cost extra, such as chat with an astronaut or journey to Mars, then you may need to set aside even a 3rd day or chop one of these other things out. Because it is a really huge complex, it does take time, and there's so much to see there. Also, if you're interested in buying some souvenirs, you should know that there are 3 different souvenir shops on site. One's at the Apollo Saturn V Center, the other is at the Atlantis Space Shuttle Complex, and the main one is in the central area at the main visitor complex. We aren't normally huge souvenir buyers, but the Space Center was one of the most unique places we ever visited, and we definitely wanted to bring a few things home.